Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto all of you. Thank you to our respected leaders, to our reverends and members of faith. Last night my father pulled me to the side and he said, our cousin, Dr. Mahmoud, was shot and killed. He was shot and killed on a Thursday night, which for us is reverent because it's the day of Jummah, Friday. So it's been standing for that. He was shot and killed on his way back home from work, where he's a pediatrician, a chief pediatrician, treating young kids in a hospital. This isn't an accident that a doctor was killed. In fact, he's one of many doctors that have been killed. He is the 20th member of my family to now have been killed in this. Words are important. They're very, very important. What's going on is a genocide. I haven't heard that word yet tonight. I've heard the words conflict, I've heard the words, issues, I've even heard the words of whatever happened after October 7th. Whatever happened after October 7th is very, very important for an entire population of people. Raise your hand here if you feel like your leadership has let you down in this country. I know there are exceptions, but that looked like most of the room. Thank you, Congresswoman Bonnie, for standing up with us. But when I say that has let us down, somebody might ask the question, who is us in that statement? That seems like a broad statement. Who's the us in that statement? Is it just those Muslims? I'd say, yeah, Muslims are hurt. This was tough. Is it just those Palestinians? Yeah, it's them too. Is it the Arabs that are inclusive of our Christian brothers and sisters? I would say for sure. Is it all of the indigenous people, our black and brown brothers, who see themselves in this conflict, who see themselves in this genocide, who see their history repeating itself, but just in a different place of the world? I would say it's true for them too. They are us. I don't think it's a coincidence that this table that our respected leaders are on are all people of color. That's not a coincidence. That's not a coincidence. Because the brown and black communities see themselves in what's going on. When a small child is killed, my youngest cousin that's been killed so far wasn't even one. She didn't even celebrate her first birthday when she was blown to pieces. So much so that they couldn't even recognize the 3 children that had been blown up in that one setting, that they put them all together in one wrapping, one burial shroud to bury them all together. That's how indistinguishable these children were after being blown to pieces. Now I came here to talk about civic engagement. What do these things have to do with each other? Well, since October 7th, even before then, I've been very active in my community, but I've been trying to be even more active. We've put together something called the Muslim Civic Coalition and the Muslim Coalition. The Muslim Coalition has written several letters, and our Congresswoman has gotten some of them, to all of our leaders, stating very clearly what the Muslim perspective is on what's going on here. 67 mosques signed on to that. I don't think 67 mosques has ever agreed on anything. Not the day when Ramadan starts, not Eid, but they agreed on this. And what did they agree to? They agreed that what's going on is a genocide, that it needs to stop, and that this idea of ceasefire is not what we're targeting. That is not a goal. That is basic humanity. We want justice, equality, and fairness for all of our okay if I say that these people shouldn't be killed? Is there something wrong with that? No! The discussion should be, how do we get these people justice? I don't care what people say. If it's about the justice of my black and brown brothers, about my black and brown sisters, about all of the indigenous people of the world, about all of the people facing these types of issues. It should be irrelevant what people think about my vocabulary, or else why are you in that office? Right. So the us in this statement is all of humanity. It is all of the people of conscience that stand, including my Jewish brothers and sisters, who many of whom are very vehemently against this war, this genocide. They are against it. That's right. They stand against their fathers and their grandfathers, and they say this is not right. What happened on October 7th is tragic. It's horrible. What's happened since then is of magnitudes of order more horrible and more disturbing and shocks the conscience. When my cousin can't walk down the street without being shot and killed, that should disturb every single person here. Martin Luther King said, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. And so if we tolerate that here, then we are just simply one way or another advocating for that. So part of this Muslim Civic Coalition is getting people to vote. Why? Because if you sit there silent, and if you just say, what's the point? What you're actually doing is casting a vote. You're casting a vote for the people who you probably don't want in office. You're casting a vote for the people that are sending billions of dollars to kill your brothers and sisters. So don't tell me I'm not going to vote. The Reverend Al Sharpton said 2 weeks ago, I was watching his interview, that the black community is facing a very similar issue. People don't want to come out and vote. What's the point? And I'm sitting there like, are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is not enough to make you want to stand up, shout from the top of a mountain, this is not okay? What more would it take? Not only should you vote, you should be getting everyone around you to vote. You should be getting the whole community, the whole state to vote for people of conscience. For people like our Congresswoman, and for the mayor who stand up for ceasefire. For people that are not going to be satisfied with the ceasefire, are going to push for human rights and equality for all people, not just people of a certain skin tone. If I'm coming off course a little harsh, I'm sorry. But I do hope that the message is clear. We have no choice right now. There is not an option to sit this one out. Especially as Muslims. Especially with the prophetic example that we have of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, who would never sit out when injustice was there. We must stand up as a duty of our faith, as a duty to humanity, to stand up and be with the people, not just in Palestine, but in Rohingya, in Sudan, in Kashmir, in all of these areas around the world that are suffering. And if you can't find it in your heart to do that, then you've got to ask yourself, what's wrong with my heart? Where's the life in my heart that I can't do this? We had a conversation with Andy Kim this morning. He's a senatorial candidate. He's a congressperson. He said in our phone call, I'm going to put it on blast here, that he stands with a bilateral ceasefire. He said it. So I said, are you going to come out and publicly say that? He said, yes, I will. Well, I'm putting him on blast now to say, well, you said it in private, now say it in public. And I asked our dear Congresswoman if she'd be so kind to contact her colleague and encourage him to be a man of sensibility like she is. It is not through silence that we will be heard. It is only when we raise our voices, when we stand up for what we believe in, that people will take us seriously. So if you want to talk about civic engagement, talk about what it means to stand up for those people. Right. I apologize to every single person in Palestine. I wish I could have done more. I have failed them. I have. And I feel like many of us here carry that burden. I carry it especially because this is my family. If we can't find it within ourselves to stand up for the people that are suffering over there in this time, then what will it take? What more do you need? please stand up, not just for yourself and for your comfort of life, but for the people that are suffering over there. Do the right thing. Get the people around you to vote. Get the people around you to engage. And let's change the system that we feel is not, you all raise your hands, is not standing up for us. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.